All right, we're in. We're live.
We are live. All right. So, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of the Dcom debate. Before the new year, we made the bracket. We picked our 32 movies, what we thought were the best 32 Disney Channel original movies that have ever been made. We are about to learn in this first episode that one of those movies is not the best movie.
Getting right into it.
Yeah. In this episode, we have Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior, versus Jett Jackson, the movie. One of these movies are incredible. One of these movies are straight up dog shit.
Hey, I mean, come on. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Give me and the Wendy Wu fan club a second. Let's go over what Wendy Wu is essentially about here. So I'm gonna get the quick synopsis here, the quick plot off the old Wikipedia here, because that's just the easiest way to base this movie around here. So okay, so we got a Chinese monk who visits the title character Wendy, and Wendy is an American teenager played by Song, claimed to be the reincarnation of a powerful female warrior. She is also the only person who can prevent a spirit of an ancient and evil Chinese dragon named Yan Lo, voiced by Hudson, who is at Hadley Hudson, from destroying the world. All right. So that is essentially the plot from Wendy Wu, and let's see. I mean, it's goddamn. I feel like we might have
to. No, Wendy Wu is bad. Wendy Wu is just bad. So Jett Jackson, the movie, is about the actor Jett Jackson, played by Lee Thompson Young, and he is struggling with being an action star. And so while he's kind of internally struggling whether or not he wants to keep the show going, he accidentally falls through like a space-time dimension portal and goes to another world, which is actually the real life world of the action series that he plays called Silverstone. And now he's actually Silverstone, and Silverstone is now in Jett Jackson's world. Meanwhile, while all this time world jumping is happening, there is a villain who is trying to steal cities and create his own world. This is a Disney Channel original movie, and it is so dense with what this plot is. It's incredible. Jett Jackson, the movie, is on rewatch, is probably one of the best DComs just ever made. It is such a good action movie. The acting is great. It's got a lot of practical effects. It's got a lot of awesome action. Really good meta humor. Wendy Wu has some wire work and some racism.
Bluntly put. And yeah, so I mean, to just go over how we kind of did this when we were making the bracket, we each took one movie to defend, and it was a back and forth thing, and Wendy Wu came off to me like initially when it was first coming out, like it felt like it was like this important movie. I mean, it was Brenda's Song. I would say it was like probably an attempt to be like Brenda Song's like breakthrough movie. That was probably like the main like intention behind Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior. Wendy Who. So for just to there might be a Wendy Wu fan out there or so. So let's just give it something here. Brenda Song did practice martial arts her entire like for like her life leading up to this. So I mean, if you look at it like that, like she got to kind of live out a movie that connected to like her actual life. I think that was in a way it was probably a cool thing for her to do, and it's and the thing is that's the thing. It was a martial arts movie, and it should have been. It was an action movie. It was an attempt at a Dcom action movie, and they didn't focus on the action enough. But they did start. They did start off with a fight scene that I described when I watched it. I described it as mint. I described this scene as mint because it was a solid fight scene. It was. I mean, I think the guy who plays the monk that comes to visit Wendy Wu, if I'm not mistaken, he was in that movie with Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai, which is kind of weird too, with Tom Cruise playing a samurai. Are we connecting these?
Maybe not the one that you should connect with that.
I never saw that. I never saw that movie. But we could assume that this guy, this guy who played the monk, he probably, you can assume he has some, I don't know. But the fight scene between, so the first fight scene is between, the monk that comes to visit Wendy Wu, and I believe Wendy Wu's brother, if I'm not mistaken. I did get some of this stuff mixed up, and I swear I tried to watch it in depth, but it just sheesh. That's all I can really say. But yeah, uh, within this fight scene, so the idea behind this movie is really like this green orb takes form of people, and that's generally who like that's where usually the action scenes come from. And this first one between the brother and the monk was solid, and they threw in a bit that made me chuckle, and I also thought it was pretty I just thought it was wholesome when the brother who was possessed at the time by this orb, we'll just call it green orb, was possessed. He grabbed fish from the fish tank and threw them like as like a distraction, and the monk did like some kind of crazy backhand spring flip over the centerpiece and grabbed the fish midair and placed them safely back in the fish tank. And it was just a good scene. It was a good wholesome scene, and I think if the movie would have done a little more focus on the action, I think there and also paid a little more attention to maybe like real traditions. I don't think that this movie does Chinese traditions well. I mean, from what I've read as well, it doesn't seem like it did a good job there. And although I do like there was another line. I do have another line here. Can I say it?
Go for it.
There's a line when the monk is trying to intertwine with the California high school life. Brenda Song's her friend says he went from monk to hunk.
Yeah, that's super cringy. So that's super cringy.
Good cringe.
Yeah. Jett Jackson the movie has no cringe.
Doesn't.
It is a cringe-free movie.
It doesn't.
It has just good acting and good action, and if a couple of things in the Jett Jackson movie were tweaked and altered, this could have been a theatrically released like PG-13 action movie. Like a little bit of sci-fi, spy action movie, world jumping. The movie is so fucking cool. Wendy Wu is so lame. And it's just like it's bad. Like it's just there's Brenda Song is giving her all. I will give her that. But that might also be because I think like many other people have like a massive crush on her.
Brenda
And
Song
so
crush.
yeah, it's like, you know, you want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but the movie's bad. It's got bad writing, it's got bad directing, it's got bad wire work. Like there's the action in Jett Jackson is better. The fight scenes in Jett Jackson are better.
We did the playground fight scene. We've talked about this one.
Fight scene where Jett Jackson goes into that sepia tone world, and it's like, and he fights the goons on the playground. It's fucking awesome.
And you get the rave music. You get that like that. Yes. Great. Yeah. The music in the movie is awesome. It was a solid movie. I mean, defending OJ with this one, defending OJ with Wendy Wu. I mean, it really is like it was it was rough. It was rough.
But yeah, I'm Wendy Wu is just it's not good, and it's like to the fans of Wendy Wu out there,
We don't know how many
yeah, like watch better movies.
I don't know if it's I don't know if there's a large fan base for this. When putting it on, you know, like we said, it felt like we go when we're going to be going back and rewatching these movies. A lot of these movies we haven't seen in 10, 15 years plus. And I didn't even remember Wendy Wu that well. I just remember the name. It must have just been like the name being like imprinted in my head as something important. And that's why I felt like it should have it like made the list at the time, like because it was like it's like Dcoms like when I was just like coming off like the ones I can remember off the top of my head before like I started actually looking at lists, like Wendy Wu was right up there. It like I just remembered it. And I think like I had high hopes being like maybe like a martial like a good like an okay martial arts movie, but like a kids movie. But like, you know, I thought like it could have some redeeming qualities it and which I think it just had potential. I think it had potential and they should have focused on action and right the action that it does get into later on with the teachers and whatnot that was I didn't even know what was happening. I literally had no like I was watching the movie and then all of a sudden they're like you're gonna need like some you know I think it was the monk. He's like I think you're gonna need some help here, and then they just like show the teachers like in a field on the side, just like in a field, and she's just like this could be fun. And then it just goes into like a training scene with the teacher. All the teachers know martial arts. I didn't, you know, they might have explained it. I got to be honest, but it was so like uncaptivating that I wasn't able to comprehend if there was an explanation. I mean, it just was.
It's bad. It's bad. Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior is a bad movie. It's a bad, even by Disney Channel original movie standards, which I'm sure we're going to see as we go on, that a lot of the writing in these movies are probably going to be pretty cringy. Um, you know, the acting is probably going to be a little off, but like, even by Dcom standards, Wendy Wu is pretty bottom of the barrel. But Jett Jackson is like it's a movie. It doesn't even feel like a DCOM. It just feels like a movie. Yeah, like I, I can't remember if I already said it or not, but it's like it's one of those movies where you forget how good it is. And then you go and you rewatch it and you're just like, this just kept all of my attention for an hour and like 23 minutes or something, however long it is. Like, it's short and it's like all killer no filler with that movie.
I think you mentioned once when we were talking about it, like the meta, like how meta it is. I and yeah, like that stuck out to me when you said that. It's just like, yeah, I mean, like this movie is it was it feels so big for just like a decom. And I think again, that's why, in a way, if I would be surprised if Wendy Wu got votes over Jett Jackson, like obvious, just based on movie. However, if it did, I would say it would probably be just because of,
Recognition.
yeah, like
That's
not
the
like,
only thing.
and I think Jett Jackson, you know, I think because it's such like a detailed movie, it has like such like a detailed plot and stuff. Like I think that like maybe like when we were trying to comprehend that movie when we were younger, like it was a lot to comprehend, and other for other people too, and maybe it just that's why it kind of got lost a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like, um, like when you hear someone talk about Disney Channel original movies, a lot of the first ones that people's minds go to are like Smart House and Luck of the Irish and 13th Year and Johnny Tsunami and Brink and stuff like that. I don't think a lot of people will think of the famous Jett Jackson.
No, but maybe it should start be.
It should be. I really think people need to start throwing some respect on Jett Jackson. Um, rest in peace, obviously, to the actor that portrayed him because he was poised to actually be like a great actor.
Wasn't he in like Friday Night Lights or something?
Friday Night Lights, he was in Scrubs. Like oh man, it sucks. Yeah, like it makes me really sad because he was a really good actor, and for him to really be like obviously like he's Jett Jackson, he's the star of the show and the movie, and he carried this movie, and he essentially is playing two versions of himself. And there's a point in this movie where he has to play three different versions of himself. Yeah. Like that's incredible for someone who was probably like, I mean, he was playing like a 16, 17-year-old kid, so he was probably like 21 at the time, maybe.
I mean, Disney sometimes has him at the age. I mean, so but Jett Jackson was out for a few years at that point, I think so.
But so yes, I mean he was maybe like 20 or something, so he was still an actor that was probably still very like wet behind the ears kind of thing, and he was carrying that movie, and he was doing great. And the fact again that at the end of that movie, when it's him versus him versus him, and he has to act the same but different, and just like the little nuances that he has to kind of change in his performance every time he's playing a different version of himself. Not many Disney Channel actors are capable of doing that. Not many of them have that actual like that I don't even know, just like that like acting, yeah, the range, that capability of doing that. And again, like as I've said, huge crush on Brenda Song. I am very jealous of Kevin McAllister, but I cannot. But if I were to hold Brenda Song's acting compared to Jett Jackson, it's no competition.
Yeah, and I mean, I can definitely agree with you on that one. I mean, like I said, I'm defending Wendy Wu here for the Wu maniacs out there. But Jett Jackson's getting my vote on this. I mean, it was solid. It was just a good movie. I mean that's, and oh, you know, I wanted to mention again that the game because we
If I can
talked,
find the game, I'll put it
yes,
right here.
we talked about that on the episode that we did, you know, or like, you know, the bracket when we were making the bracket. We talked about the game that was on Disney Channel, but I couldn't like remember what it was about. But it's that orb. It's the orb that he has, like he wears the glove to throw. Yeah, yeah. I think it's like brick. I don't know. It's a paddle, and then it hits. It's like the ball comes down. And it hits like you have to clear all the bricks. I think it was something like that.
I vaguely feel like I remember that. Um,
Hopefully,
oh man, if I can find it, not even that. I'm also gonna play it. Like if I can actually find the game,
if we
if I
if we
can
could
play it,
that would
if I
be
can play,
sick.
that would be so awesome.
That would probably feel insane.
I would go crazy.
I mean, that's the thing about going through these movies. It's like, you know, because we haven't seen them in forever, like the nostalgia is crazy. And that's how we got one like this. I mean, when we made the bracket, you know, I mean, we took the movies that we're defending. I mean, it's not like necessarily either one of those is our favorite or whatnot, but we got to rewatch all these things, and our feelings towards these movies can be all over the place on these things.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll tell you that with next week's episode, Halloween Town. I've got a couple of hot takes on Halloween Town that I don't think people are going to be too happy with me for.
I'll be there to defend it.
But so I guess I mean, so Jett Jackson wins, right? Wendy Wu is a failure and is a flop.
Didn't win yet. We didn't vote yet. We gotta wait for the votes. We gotta wait for the votes. And however you guys are gonna vote, you gotta comment. We're gonna find votes, right? I think that's kind of what we're gonna do.
On Instagram, can you do polls on TikTok?
Possibly.
Because I know you can do the polls on Instagram of like Wendy Wu or Jett Jackson.
I mean, we're even gonna be doing some in-person polls, but we need we need the comment section polls too. So get those votes in.
Yeah. So thanks. Yeah. So thank you to anyone that has watched the first episode of the Dcom debate. I vote for Jett Jackson. He's votes for Jett Jackson. Wendy Wu is garbage. So next week we are going to be debating Halloween Town versus Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. I'm super excited. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys next.
Later.